it's Miss Katie, and today we are going to make a rubber band car. What is a rubber band car? Well, it's just that. We're going to make a car that runs on rubber band power. Sound pretty neat? It is, and super easy. So, first we take our plastic bottle. Any plastic bottle will do, a drink bottle, water bottle, and we are going to make holes for our axles, which are what the bar that the wheels go on. Okay, so I've got my plastic bottle. Now you will need a top because we're going to screw our rubber bands on with a top, so make sure it has a top. Alright, so first we're going to measure for our wheels. Now, I found it easiest that most plastic bottles have a seam from the mold. So I start by marking with a Sharpie or whatever marker you have, the spots along the seam where you want the wheels to go. And then, since I thought we would do this without using power tools or all the fancy heat guns and things that they use on other tutorials I've seen, I'm going to try to do it with the most simple household items I could find, okay? So I'm going to start with a screw. This one's very pointy. Now, this is more for older kids, but younger kids you can help too. But you're going to need your parents' help, okay? Because this can get a little tricky, and we're going to use an X-Acto knife and scissors and a screwdriver. So, just to warn you, this is for the older kids, but little kids you can watch too, and you can help your parents, okay? All right. So I'm going to take my screw, and I poke it through, and then I twist it in where I want it to go on both sides like this. Now, this screw is pointy, and so it penetrates the plastic for me, but it's not a big enough hole to fit my skewer through. So then I go back through with a larger screw that's not as pointy, and then I make the hole bigger. And I twist in there. Now when you first get it started, sometimes it's tricky, so you might need to use a screwdriver to twist it all the way in there. Now, once those holes are made, test your dowel that you're using or your skewers and make sure it fits. You want some play in there because you're going to want it to wiggle and to be able to turn. So if it's too snug and it catches, you're going to want to make that hole even bigger. And I just use my screwdriver, and then I'll push that all the way through to make that hole even bigger, like that, okay? Now, next you need to line up your holes on the other side. So what I do is I stick my skewer through here like this, and I see where I want it to be flat at the lowest point that I can, and then I match it up with a marker, and I mark that there. And then I just do the same thing with the screws on this side as well. Now, I already did this, so you don't have to watch me because it does take a little bit of time. So don't think you're taking too long. I pre-drilled my holes. Alright, so now I have my 4 holes ready for my axles. And they've been enlarged with the screwdriver. I had to put the screwdriver through all of them to make sure that the skewer turned like that, okay? Because you're going to want those wheels to move, right? Alright, so next we will make our wheels. I just used cardboard. I did try to use pop bottles, and they were just too small, and I didn't really get a lot of distance with them. And I found that if I used larger wheels, my car would go further when I wound it up. So I used just a cup, and I took cardboard, drew my circle, and then I cut that circle out with my scissors. Now, to save you all that time for me cutting out circles, I already pre-cut them, but I'm going to show you how I ended up with my final product here. Now, I doubled up the cardboard because it gives it a little more surface area to roll on, and they're a little sturdier, so they're not as wobbly when the car goes. And so I found that you could get the direction a little straighter if you doubled up the cardboard. And I figured most of us have a cardboard box laying around that we can cut up and use. So, to make the wheel, after this, make sure you're working on a cardboard surface so you don't scratch up whatever surface you're working on. But you just need to find your middle for your first one. And then after that, I just use the other wheels to line up and find my middle. That way, they're all at the same level. So here I go. I'm going to stick my little screw through there, turn it, and if you can't get it to turn all the way, get your screwdriver out and just screw it in the cardboard until you're all the way through. But make sure you don't go through that cardboard or else you'll be scratching up the counter. Ooh, and you'll get in trouble. Alright, so as you can see, the screw went all the way through. And now I'm removing that. Now, since you're putting the two pieces together, I recommend putting one of the skewers through both of those to hold them together. That way, it won't slide back and forth when you're trying to tape them together. But, as you can see, they're a little off-centered because they weren't exactly perfect when I cut them out. So now, I'm just going to trim the edges so they line up, because again, if you only have the one sticking out, then your surface area is only going to be the one cardboard circle instead of both. So it kind of defeats the purpose of putting them together. So there we go. But it does also have extra structure on the axles, so it has double duty. Alright, there's my wheel, and now I want it to stick together. Oop, I twirled it, and then it twirled apart. So now I have to line it up again. Silly Miss Katie. Alright, there we go. So it's all lined up. And now I'm going to take my tape, and I'm just going to tape them together like that. Alright, there's one. I like to do it 4 on there, just think it's a little more sturdy. I think it holds well that way. So north, south, east, and west. That's the way it holds best. Oh, it's a mom joke for you. I don't know if it's a joke. It's a saying, a silly saying. All right, so there's my wheel. Now you're going to want the skewer to hold fast to the wheel, so don't worry about making that hole any bigger, because we're going to actually end up taping these wheels to our axles. All right, so now we will put our skewers and our wheels on. So I pre-measured one of my dowels. Alright, so I pre-measured this one to the length that I wanted it, that I thought would fit my bottle, because all the bottles are going to be a little different length, so I don't want to give you exact measurements. But I thought that would be a good length to fit my wheels on with a little extra play on the side, okay? So I cut that one, and now, just to show you, I'm going to just do this one the exact same length, my front and back axle there. So careful when you cut these, because they're round and thick, they have a tendency to fly all over the place. So just to warn you, you don't want to poke an eye out. Whew, there we go. I think I dulled my scissors cutting out all that cardboard, because the first one cut like butter. Alright, there we go. So I've got my 2 axles. Slide through. Now, also, before you do all the taping and put them all together, make sure your wheels don't touch. So So make sure there's enough room on the side for both wheels to go, because when I first did this, I just cut them all, oops, I cut them all one length, one size, and well, they're gonna rub on each other and it won't go. So I had to cut a set of them down so they can both fit on there without rubbing on each other. So make sure you didn't do what I did and you think ahead. All right, so I'm gonna put the smaller wheels that I made up front. So it's an easy fix though. I just measured them down a little bit and it wasn't that big of a deal. So, but it was a little bit of time that I wasted on the first time putting them all together. So just a little helpful hint for you. All right, so want to make sure that those fit. All right, so far we're rocking and rolling, right? Oh, look, see how that moved? They might run into each other again. Might have to cut them down even more. But that's why we do our testing, right? So we can see. That should be fine. All right, next you're going to want to, since you know that those fit, you're going to want to cut open our bottle and we're going to get the rubber band going, okay? So this part's rather tricky, so younger kids, you're going to have adults help with this. Older kids, be careful, okay? So you can use an X-Acto knife, which are very, very sharp, so be careful. Or you can use scissors, but you're going to have to get a little pinch started to get scissors. So I'm going to start it with my X-Acto knife. Now I'm just going to cut the back end out so I can put my rubber band around the back axle. I've also tried it with the top being cut out, and that worked too. So whichever way you want to do it, it's up to you. All right, always point away from you. Always cut away from you. You slip, that way it'll slip away from you and not towards you. So always, always cut away from yourself, your body, your face, there. All right, so my safety cap back on. There we go. And now I have the back cut off there, okay? You see? So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put my skewer through here. Now, we're going to take our rubber bands and we're going to loop them together. So they're going to go together like this. So you put the one through the other one. And now you're going to take one side and loop it through itself. Like that. See? And pull that tight. Alright, so now they're connected. Cool, huh? Alright, and I'm going to do that again. Take rubber band, stick it through the other rubber band, put it through, and then put it through that loop. There we go. All right, and so now we're going to do the same thing over the skewer, okay? But you have to do it while the skewer is already in the bottle, or else you won't be able to get it back through the holes. So this part's a little tricky. Just be patient with yourself. And you're going to want to loop this one through the bottom one. So you're going to have one up top here hanging, then your second one, and this third one is the one you're looping, okay? So make sure it lines up in the center. Pull it through. All right. do this and show you at the same time. Let's see if I can. All right, so rubber bands, tangled up rubber bands. There we go. All right, so see here, I pulled that one through, and now it's over our skewer there. All right. Now this is gonna, for it to work, you need this to hook on itself and catch. So you can always just push on it so it'll be able to twirl around, or you can put a knot down there. I like to put a knot down there just so it doesn't move around a lot, but that part's kind of tricky. But here we go. All right. It's already down there tight. See? Hold it with your finger and then just make a knot with through your fingers, but you're going to want that knot all the way down on the skewer, okay? So don't tighten it yet. Wait to tighten it. You're going to wait to tighten it until it's all the way down, touching that wooden skewer. And it's a rubber band, so it's kind of tricky and wrinkly, but just be slow, just be patient, and you can get through it, okay? All right, here we go. All right, so now it's on there. See how it's knotted? All right, and then we've got our rubber band connected here. So this is going to pull through the top of our bottle, just like that. All right. Now it's time to put the wheels back on. Like I said, I'm going to put my big wheels in the back to give it a little more power. Like that. And then my smaller wheels are going to go up front. Like so. Oops. Fell out of the hole. All right, there we go. All right, so here we are, the rubber band all the way through. Now, I like to put this underneath my rubber band here. So the rubber band should go over the front skewer, because I put that skewer a little closer to the bottom, so you're going to want it to go over like that. Otherwise, it can get caught up in that front one, and then it slows you down. So, and then you're going to put your top on, get a little loose, and then you're going to put your top on to keep the rubber band from going anywhere. So you just put the rubber band here and twist your lid on. See how that wheel fell off? We're gonna tape those on. All right, so now your rubber band's all the way through, and we're gonna tape our wheels on. All right, so you can use whatever tape you have. I have painter's tape or duct tape. I like duct tape because it's stronger and kind of more flexible, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, I've got all my wheels taped to their axles. So if you can see, I use the duct tape, and it's on both the skewer and the cardboard at the same time. I found that was the most sturdy way to go. I just took a bunch of little pieces of duct tape and I went around the wheels, and I just put it half on and half off, kind of wrapped them around like that until they all were pretty sturdy. So it's ready to race. All right, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's go see if it works, okay? All right, here we go. We're gonna wind it up. See how that rubber band's winding up around the axle there? We're gonna get it nice and tight, probably to that. And then, all right, line her up. And there she goes. Whoa, it worked! Hooray! Well, there you have it. That is our rubber band car tutorial. Thanks for watching. And remember, when you make your rubber band car, post your results on our Facebook page at the library. We'd love to see what you came up with. Maybe you made it just like we made it here today, or maybe you made a different way, a different design with different things you found around the house. We'd love to see what you come up with, so please post it on our Facebook page. Thanks. Have a great day.